Welcome to the Shift into What's Next podcast, where embracing change can ignite a world of possibilities. Hey now, I'm your host Elise Ancel, and welcome back to a space where we have real conversations and talk about the challenges that try to shake us, but never break us. Today we're talking about what it feels like to keep going, even when all the signs are telling you to quit. What it feels like to walk into a situation that already looks bad, when nothing about it says this will end in your favor, and still you show up anyway. This episode is about the fight you stayed in, even when the outcome didn't swing your way. So let's get into it. Before the final decision, before the moment that felt like a loss, there was already a part of me that wanted to give in. And things didn't look good. The facts weren't lining up in my favor, and I felt it deep in my spirit. I was outmatched, under-resourced, and unprotected. But I didn't have a way out. There was no secret exit, no backup escape plan, no one else to take over. The only way through was through, and so I showed up. I stood there in truth, even when I knew I didn't have the tools to fight the way I needed to, the way I wanted to. No documents, no defense, just faith and a quiet resolve. And even though the outcome wasn't favorable, I need to pause and say this. I'm proud of the version of me that didn't run. I'm proud of the me that stood still even when the ground felt shaky, because that version of me chose courage even when fear would have been easier. Yes, I lost this round, but the loss didn't break me. It revealed something else. That strength isn't just about winning. Sometimes it's about not giving in when everything inside you says to bow out. So now what? What do I do with all that belief I stood on in the first place? What do I do with the scriptures like stand still and see the salvation of the Lord? Or the battle is not yours but God's, when I walked away with no evidence of victory? Here's what I'm learning. Just because the result wasn't what I hoped for, what I expected, doesn't mean God's hand wasn't still in it. Sometimes you don't get to see the full redemption on day one. Sometimes the harvest doesn't come from the field you fought in. It comes later, somewhere else, somewhere new. So let's take a moment to honor the hard decisions, the ones where you stayed when everything said leave, the ones where you stood, not because you were strong, but because you had no choice. That's a strength people don't talk about enough. Not the win, but the will to walk it out when winning doesn't seem likely. If that's where you are today, know this. You are not weak because you lost. You're not faithless because things didn't turn in your favor. You're brave because you faced it head on. You're faithful because you didn't run. And you're still standing, which tells me the story isn't over. So this chapter may close with not this time, but the book doesn't end there. Not when you still got breath. Not when you still got purpose. Until the next time. Thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and like, share, or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear how your shift is unfolding.